Hello everyone, today we are going to learn about cosine rule and its applications. Okay, so in order for us to apply cosine rule successfully, we need to know when are the conditions that we can actually make use of to find an unknown length and unknown angle for cosine rule, using cosine rule. And we also need to appreciate the formula for cosine rule and know when to apply it so that we can actually successfully use it for finding our unknown length and unknown angle. Okay, so let's take a look at the formulas itself. Right. So if we want to actually make use of the cosine rule to find an unknown length, okay, we will need to have two given lengths given to us as well as an included angle. Okay, so in this example over here, we have a given length B and a given length C. Okay, in this case, angle BAC is actually the included angle. Okay, because it's an angle that is sandwiched in between B and C. Okay, angle B itself is not an included angle because it's outside of B and C. Neither is angle C an included angle because it's also outside of B and C. Right. So the meaning of an included angle means it must be in between B and C. Okay, like we are biting the angle itself. Okay, the formula itself. Now this formula is actually provided in your formula sheet. Okay, but I will strongly recommend that you understand how to use it and try and memorize it, because under exam conditions you may not be able to find the correct formula, and under exam anxiety you may actually copy the formula wrongly. Okay, which will lead to an error in the answers. Okay, so try and appreciate the formula and memorize it if possible. Okay, that will allow you to be more efficient, okay, during the exam conditions. Okay, so let's look at the formula now. Okay, how do we actually apply the formula? Okay, so this is actually the square of unknown length, a square. Okay, it will be equals to the sum of b square plus c square minus 2bc cosine angle A. Now notice that the unknown length is actually the furthest away from its match angle, which is the included angle here. Right, so this is a unique characteristics of the cosine rule. The unknown length is always furthest away from its match angle. Okay, so this is how we apply cosine rule to find an unknown length. Okay, so the condition will be you need two given lengths and one included angle. Let's take a look at the cosine rule, how we can actually make use of cosine rule to find an unknown angle. To find an unknown angle using cosine rule, we'll need three given lengths. Okay, A, B, and C. All these three lengths must be given to you before you can actually make use of cosine rule to find an unknown angle. Right? So suppose we want to find this unknown angle A. Okay, so let's say we want to find this unknown angle A. Okay, so in order to find this unknown angle A, we'll match it to the opposite length A. Okay, and this formula is actually derived from the previous formula. Okay, and like what I mentioned, it will be best if you can actually appreciate and memorize it so that you will be more efficient during any conditions. Okay, when you're doing homework or when you're doing examinations. Right. Okay, so let's take a look at the formula again. Okay, notice that the unknown angle is furthest away from the match length, which is the given length in this question. Okay, so cosine angle A will be equals to b square plus c square minus a square divided by 2bc. Okay, so to find an unknown angle, we'll need all three lengths given to us, and we can use it to find our unknown angle. Let's take a look at an example. So suppose we have a question over here which requires us to find an unknown length. Okay, so suppose AB is 11 cm, AC is 6 cm, CD is 3 cm, angle ABC is 30 degree, angle ACD is 80 degree. We are supposed to find the length of AD. Okay, now before we find the length of AD, we need to decide which triangle we need to use. Okay, so let's take a look at triangle ABD first. Right, so in triangle ABD, we are given the length of AB, but we are not given the full length of BD. So we only have one given length. Okay, AD is an unknown, definitely it's not a given length. So in this case, are we able to use triangle ABD to help us to find the unknown length? Okay, the answer is no, obviously no, because with only one given length, it's impossible to find AD, okay, because we are still struggling with BD as well. All right, so definitely we cannot use triangle ABD. So let's take a look at triangle ACD now. Okay, so in triangle ACD, we are given AC, which is 6 cm. We're also given CD, which is 3 cm. So in this case, are we able to make use of cosine rule to find the unknown length AD? Okay, we are also given the included angle, which is 80 degree. Right, so one given length, two given length, and an included angle. Are we able to use cosine rule? The answer is yes. Right, okay, so with two given lengths and an included angle, we can use cosine rule to find our unknown length. Let's apply the cosine formula now. Right, so the unknown length formula will be in this manner: c square is equals to a square plus d square minus 2ad cosine angle c. Okay, so notice that the unknown length is furthest away from its match angle c and c. Okay, and how do I get all this a b c d? Basically the length that's opposite the specific point, okay, this will be called length c. So this length over here AC is actually called length D, and this length over opposite point A will be called length A. Right, okay, now we can apply the formula. So AD square will be equals to A square, which is 3 cm, plus D square, which is 6 cm, minus 2 times 3 times 6, okay, AD, okay, multiplied by cosine angle C. Angle C will be 80 degree. Okay, so we can key this into our calculator. 3 square plus 6 square minus 2 times 3 times 6 times cosine 80. Okay, we'll get the value of 38.74866656. Right, so for cosine rule, it's important that we actually copy down everything from your calculator, because if you actually just stop at 38.7, we may lose the degree of accuracy for the subsequent values. Right, so it's important that we actually copy down the whole chain of decimal numbers. So finally, when we want to find the value of AD, okay, AD will be the square root of the whole thing. And we press our calculator. Okay, we'll get a value of 6.22 cm. Okay, and when the degree of accuracy is not given to us, we round it off to 3 significant figures. Right, so this is how we find an unknown length using the cosine rule. Okay, so just a quick run through again. Whenever we want to find an unknown length, right, we need to make sure that we have two given lengths and an included angle. So once we have that, we can apply the cosine rule formula. Okay, just make sure that the unknown length is furthest away from its match angle, and we can actually use this to find our unknown length. Right, so this is example 1. Let's take a look at the second example where we use cosine rule to find an unknown angle. Okay, so in this diagram, we're given BAC to be 54 degree, AB is 4.2 cm, AC is 3.6 cm, CD is 5.5, and AD is 8 cm. Right, we are supposed to find angle ACD. Okay, so to find angle ACD, which triangle do we use? Do we use triangle ABC or do we use triangle ACD? Okay, so in this example, it's pretty straightforward. Okay, we are supposed to find angle ACD, then rightfully we should be using triangle ACD to help us to find the answer. Okay, then let's check. Do we have 3 given lengths? Okay, so we have 1 length, 2 lengths, and 3 lengths. Okay, yes, we have 3 given lengths, so we can actually make use of cosine rule to find our answer. Okay, so let's apply cosine rule now. So under cosine rule, okay, we want to find angle C. So it will be cosine angle C, okay, will be equals to A square plus D square, okay, minus C square divided by 2AD. Okay, so notice again, the unknown angle C is actually furthest away from the match length C. Okay, so this is a useful way to help us to remember. Okay, so the unknown angle C is actually furthest away from its match length C. Right, now we apply the values inside our formula. So a square will be 5.5 square, okay, and d square will be 3.6 square, c square will be 8 square, okay, we divided by 2 times 5.5 times 3.6, right? Okay, so now we can press our calculator to get the value. Okay, and we will get negative 0.2525. Okay, so to find our unknown angle, we will now need to take the inverse of cosine. Right, so angle C will now be equals to, or angle ACD, okay, we want to answer the question, so angle ACD will be equals to cosine inverse negative 0.525. Okay, so to press our cosine inverse button, we will press either the shift or the second function button followed by the cosine button, and we will just key in the number, and our answer will be 121.7 degree. Right, so for all answers in degrees, we'll round them off to 1 decimal place. Okay, so just a quick recap again. In order to find our unknown angle using cosine rule, then what we need to do is we need to make sure that we have 3 given lengths, right? And we will choose the opposite length, right, as the match angle. As the match length, right? So that when we apply our formula, then cosine angle C will be furthest away from the match length. Okay, and this is how we apply cosine rule to find an unknown angle. Right, so that's all for today's lesson, and I hope you have learned something. I'll see you next time.